Hey, this is Victor Antonio, and welcome to another Victor Report. Today, I want to talk about lead generation. I have a lot of people who ask me the question, Victor. I sell a lot of network marketing products, direct selling products, and I want to generate new leads, and mostly offline, not online, but offline. How do I go about doing this? Well, let's kind of break this down. Let's see if I can give you the quick synopsis of how you should do it. First of all, you have to know what you're selling. Okay, so I'll assume you know what you're selling and you're very good at explaining the product you're selling. The second thing you have to do is figure out who you're going after. So in other words, in your mind, who are you going after? Who do you want? What's the profile? I've talked about this in my past videos when I said you got to have in your mind who's the client profile you're looking for. You can have 2 or 3 profiles of people you're looking for. So for example, if you're selling health supplements, then you know you're looking for people who may be having some wellness issues or maybe some weight issues, right? So now you have that in your mind. Now that you know what you're looking for and you understand your product, where do you go fishing for new prospects? Well, 3 categories. I like to have 3 broad categories. The first one is maybe a house event, right? You go to a party, a get together at a friend's house, and maybe you'll meet people there. There's also social events. For example, you go down Main Street, there might be a craft fair going on and you might meet some people there. Or there might be an official networking event, right? Business people, business owners, entrepreneurs get together to talk about business and what's happening, and again, just share contact and information, right? So these are places that you're going to go fishing for new business. Now, again, knowing your product, knowing who you're going to go after, and now knowing where to go, you're almost ready. Now, last part is, what is the outcome that you want? In other words, if I go to one of these social events, right? It could be, again, somebody's house, a social event out in the neighborhood, or a networking event. What do I want? Well, let's walk through it. Maybe you want to meet people who fit your profile, right? Got it. But maybe that's not the place to sell them. In other words, that's not the place to really have a one-on-one discussion with them about your product or service or what you're trying to sell them. So maybe the outcome, the goal, the objective of that encounter at either of those scenarios, social, house, or networking, is to set up maybe a one-on-one meeting with them at a later date, maybe the next day, take them out to lunch. So knowing that, now you know how to structure your conversation. If the whole objective is not to sell them on the spot, but just get them to what? Go to a lunch meeting with you the next day, then perfect. Now you know what the outcome is, what the objective is. Now, keep in mind, when you approach somebody for the first time and you're just kind of just introducing yourself, you want to begin to ask them questions. You want to begin to ask them key questions that will tell you whether they're a qualified profile or not. For example, if you're selling health supplements, again, you're going to ask them questions about, what do you do on a daily basis? Do you run? Do you walk? What do you do? What's your workout regimen? Again, friendly conversation. And during that conversation, things are going to come up about illness, how to maintain your weight, what do you eat? And again, it's going to start giving you some clues if this person is one of those profile people you're trying to target. If they are, great. Then eventually it's going to shift the conversation. They're going to ask you, what do you do? That's when you're going to tell them a little bit about what you do. And again, try to tie it back into the questions you've asked them about health and wellness, right? But again, the objective is not to sell on the spot sometimes because maybe there's too many people around, too much ambient noise, and maybe the key is really just to get them to have lunch with you the next day. So knowing this, having that conversation, asking them the key questions, and in your mind say, this person seems qualified, like the person I'd like to really talk to, at that point, you extend the invitation. Hey, I'd like to tell you more about what I do. I said, what are you doing tomorrow? Find your own phrasing. You can say, hey, by the way, are you available for lunch anytime this week, specifically Monday or Tuesday maybe? And whatever, again, you can use any wording or phrasing you want. But again, this is how you get people to go out to lunch with you. First, qualify them, right? And then as you're sharing information back and forth about what you do, how it fits with them, again, you're trying to build rapport. You're trying to build a relationship. You're not trying to sell. Listen to what I just said. You want to share information about what you're doing, but you also want to make sure that there's a dialogue because sometimes it's unidirectional. I've seen people do this. They'll go to a networking meeting with the objective of selling somebody, right? And what they're doing is they're doing most of the talking. What you want to do is what? Have that bi-directional conversation. Ask them questions. Again, very strategic questions about who they are, what they do, and maybe get an idea of what this person fits your profile. Are they qualified? And if they are, then it's all about really establishing a great rapport, building a good conversation with them, and then moving towards, hey, I'd like to take you out to lunch tomorrow and talk to you about an opportunity I am currently involved with to see if you're open to it. Based on what you've told me, I think you might be interested. How does tomorrow look for you at 12 o'clock? Yeah, something like that, okay? So again, if you're going to get new leads, do some lead generation, keep in mind that it's not about just going out there and trying to sell people. You have to have a strategy. You got to know your product. You got to know who the profile is. Who are you going after? You got to know what key questions you want to ask to qualify to make sure that person is the right profile. And as you're asking those key questions and you've qualified them, then we have to shift the conversation towards trying to get them to accept an invitation to go to lunch and maybe have a one-on-one. Again, this is one strategy out of many, but just giving you an idea how this works. This is Victor Antonio. We will see you tomorrow on the Victor Report. Take care.